Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
We're slow starters.
We are slow starters.
All right, Yuta-san.
Yeah.
So, could you tell me what this podcast is about?
So our concept is
Yeah.
slow starters.
Yes.
We want to tell the story.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Okay. Take two.
So our concept is slow starters.
Yeah.
So our motto is
Yeah.
it's never too late to start pursuing what we want.
Yeah.
You can achieve whenever you want.
Yeah.
You can try whenever you want.
Yeah.
That's slow starters.
Yeah.
Let's go.
This time, we have something special. We'd like to touch a little on a deep emotion shift that Yuta has been carrying for about past few years.
2 years.
Yeah. And it's about the sadness and the frustration that you experienced after the loss of a loved one.
Yeah.
And the light that he has come to feel after going through those emotions.
Yep.
Over these past few years, I've been close by watching you.
You were.
Yeah.
And
your
you were.
feelings. And then your feeling have gradually changed.
Yeah.
The difficulty and confusion of coming to terms with the farewell.
Yeah.
And it was truly immense. Yeah. And an eternal farewell is something that eventually comes to all of us. We can't avoid it.
Yeah.
And so today, we're going to hear your story.
Yeah.
And what it was like to face the loss.
Yeah.
And how you changed, how your mind has shifted since then.
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Of course, I'm host too.
We always wanted to talk about
this
this
grief care.
Yeah, the grief care. So today's theme is about the grief care.
Yeah. So as Stats said, I lost my dad 2 years ago. About 2 years ago.
Yep.
And it was tough and the hardest moment in my life for sure.
Yeah.
So we want to share that kind of story, how I kind of went from, I don't know, like being in a dark room and being in the bottom, and now I think I'm gradually accepting things and then try to be positive.
Yeah.
And I think through that experience, what I can share with our listeners is, I think it comes very suddenly.
Yeah.
And you cannot prepare, right? So I remember about 10 years ago, I was talking with my friends.
Yeah.
Because we live in Tokyo, going out, Friday or whatever, and drinking.
Yeah.
And then you don't really go back to your parents' house.
Yeah.
And you don't talk anymore,
Yeah.
right? At some point of your life. And I was talking with my friends that, maybe we don't see our parents like 100 times, right? And then once you say that, you kind of feel, oh, less than 100, really? Maybe, like something like that. But then after 10 years, probably I was not meeting, with my parents 100 times.
Yeah.
Right. So what I want to say is, the life is limited and you cannot prepare for, or you cannot control. Unfortunately, it's nature of our life. Yeah. You might lose somebody.
You have to face it. Yeah. At one point.
So what I can say is basically, try to meet, spend the time with parents and family as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, first thing I want to say. Yeah.
So we've been friends for a long time, but I actually, unfortunately, haven't met your dad.
Yeah.
If not even once, but you always told me about him.
Yeah.
Could you tell me the relationship between you and your dad?
Yeah. So I was not really close with my dad when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah?
He was a very strict Japanese serious man. Yes, sir. I was like, Yuta, clean up your room. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you have to
do you have a word? No, sir.
You have to be really, really like polite, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and then he was working for the sport industry, right?
Okay.
He's the reason why I started to pursue my career in the sport industry. And after graduating from college, I started to go overseas, and then I started to respect my dad, and then my time with my father. And things that I talk with or share with my dad, gradually kind of increased, right? So more often I spend more time with my dad, and then basically I was respecting him a lot. I'm respecting him a lot still. I see. And
it's getting closer
for sure. And then I was assigned for the Olympics project in Google at the age of like 30 or something, 29. 29, maybe 28, I forgot. But relatively it's young, right? So some people were saying, oh, this guy is like
still young,
and then
he doesn't
have the experience, he doesn't have a skill, blah blah blah, pointing out, right? And I had a pressure too, but because of my dad, who worked for the industry close to maybe for 30 years, whenever I went to the meeting room, board meeting room, whatever, pitching to executives or pitching to Google employees, 100 or 200 or whatever, in a room, I had a confidence because I was sharing experience and the knowledge with my dad.
I see.
Right? So he didn't say anything.
Yeah. He didn't
but
help you.
Having his presence helped me to have confidence and going to the room, show what I got, and so basically he was huge for me.
Yeah.
And through his network, I earned my network as well. I got my opportunity, I think in US or even UK and Japan. So basically he was huge, presence always in my heart. Yeah.
So that's awesome. So since you start working, the relationship dynamic had changed quite a bit. Hey. Your dad had a symptom, like a sudden symptom.
Collapsed.
Back in like 2023 June.
June, yes.
Right? And then of course, fortunately he was alive back then. Until maybe for about like 6 months. But then those 6 months, it must have been so tough for you.
So he collapsed in Osaka, which is far away from Tokyo. So first 3 months, I had to go to Osaka quite often, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And only meeting time with him was only like for 30 minutes or 15 minutes a lot, because of the COVID restriction from the hospital. Right. But I didn't care. I wanted to spend the time with him. I wanted to show that I love him, and then our family cares about him. So when that happened, I got tons of line message, the phone call from my family. When he collapsed, but I was sleeping.
You didn't
I would
notice,
say this is the worst day, or the worst like the morning for me to see this shocking news. He was collapsed and then went to the hospital, he had a surgery. I was like, what? Right? And since then, like sometimes I don't want to put the phone into the mana mode,
the silent mode.
Silent mode. So
you didn't notice any kinds of
so I
notification.
sometimes feel the fear, but now I do that still. Anyway, so total, I think he was in the hospital for 6 months. 3 months in Osaka, 3 months in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And so I tried to kind of, at that time, I felt pain. But I put my priority for him first. So try to spend time as much as possible. Kind of that was my oyakoko, like trying to contribute to my parents. Right. So I not quit, but I stopped to go to office. I told my team and then, boss, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to work anymore. Maybe limited time. I want to spend the time with my dad. And then, of course, my mom and the brother, they have a job and work. Yeah. So I had a more kind of a little bit freedom. Yeah. And I felt it's a teamwork. When there's something that tragedy happened, as a family, you have to help each other. And then having my brother, I was the one who was going to the hospital a lot, but he was more trying to, take care of other logistics and admin stuff and so on. Yeah. And, take care of my mom and so on. So I think we kind of came together as a family to support my dad. And once he moved to Tokyo, I was going to hospital every day. And because of COVID, we had to call the hospital 2 days before visiting. And then a day before the COVID PCR test, then you can actually go. Yeah. And then only 1 or 2, people. So we cannot get into the room as a whole family. Yeah. So it was tough, but I tried to go talk to my dad and then kind of share the condition of him to my parents. Yeah. No, my mom and then brother. Yeah. Because sometimes they cannot go. Yeah. And at that time, I was just really desperate to spend time with my dad and then try to, take care of him. Yeah. And that was pain, and I just want to little bit share. At that time, I was watching on YouTube the video. It's called V Foundation. It's cancer research, US based company. Yeah. And Jimmy Valvano, who was diagnosed as cancer, and he unfortunately left. But since then, Jimmy V, award goes to some people who kind of show the spirit of fighting against cancer. And Jimmy V was also the one who had this award for first one, her first recipient, right? And then in the speech he said, I don't know how long I'm gonna live, but he said, in life only 3 things important. In the day, you laugh, and you think, and you cry. That's only 3 things important. So try to laugh, try to smile, and try to think, and try to cry. And that's a whole day. That's what he said. And I kind of understood it because my dad was not, sometimes in the mood to talk or, to think or whatever. So I tried to spend time with him, kind of try to share the moment. Maybe he's not laughing, but, I don't know, sharing the story. Yeah. Yes, maybe I was crying and maybe outside the room or whatever. And anyway, so any kind of moment, I think you need to share, you need to accept, and that's, I think, what family is about. Yeah.
I see. I think I can, I've seen your mental shift, but also you told me that your family has also, like, their mental reactions or how they actually accept the the loss of your dad has also changed quite a bit.
And then I think he was the one who was leaving, but who, like, we were kind of left. How can I say that? Like, we are still alive, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But for those people who kind of lost the loved one, also have the same pain. So it was hard to see, my mom, kind of in a like sadness, and I could see her. How can I say it? Concern or anxious, negativity, whatever, So I try to bring the positivity, try to talk with her, and but actually I cannot do that alone. My brother was helping me, or helping her, and my friends or dad's friends kind of sharing the moment with my mother, kind of, I think, helped her a lot. So of course I was shocked as a child to lose my dad, but at the same time it was shocked to see my mom is suffering as well, right? So since then I'm trying to go to my family place as much as possible, and share the moment with my. Actually, I was not close. I mean, we are okay, between brothers, but kind of we are, brothers. We don't talk. And we share the thing. We don't share things really, but now we share more things. We try to spend time in his family, my family, and my mother. Try to have event, birthday event or something like that. We didn't have it before, and
now you guys do it.
Yeah, and also at the beginning, as I said, it's kind of shock. You are in shock.
Yeah.
And then gradually you start to feel, relief, right? And the moment kind of I felt it's kind of switched to more positive direction. Once I started to build cemetery. How can I say that?
Yeah, the grave.
Graveyard, yeah. And before I didn't go to the grave for my grandfather and grandmother, and I didn't understand the importance of visiting, those things.
Yeah.
But now I go there and then talk to my dad, and go with my mother and kind of share things like that. And he lives there for sure. I feel it. And since then, I started to feel like I was feeling I lost. Like I was feeling like I'm a victim mode. But since then, I started to feel, he's with me and I can talk to my dad. Maybe he's going to say it like this. He's going to maybe give you this advice, something like that. So now he lives with me for sure.
That's I think what you just said is very inspirational because, my dad also had a medical condition.
Yeah.
I think a year ago, a couple years ago, and then my mom actually freaked out.
Yeah.
My mom is the stronger one, so she sometimes complains about like what my dad does to her or something. But it's quite interesting to watch because my mom was very shocked by the fact that my dad is actually having a medical condition, right? And then it got me thinking. That okay, I guess like you said, time is limited. Yeah. So I have to go see my parents as much as possible. 100%. And then I think I remember when you maybe a little after you lost your dad. You kept telling me like do not regret. Yeah. Even if you have an argument with your parents. Yeah. Your parents love you. Yeah. So just say thank you in a normal random time in a day, and just show you how much you appreciate it. And then actually you know, like I'm very close to my mom, but I start being more serious about, like, you know, saying thank you, show my appreciation, my gratitude, and try to see them as much as possible.
I think that's great. And there's a moment, like, you know, last moment, I would say, with the parents. Some people know it is last moment. Some people don't know it is last. It's not, you know, last moment or whatever. I was the one who know it's gonna be last moment, couple of weeks or couple of months. I did whatever I could do. So I now, because of that, I think I can accept it. I could move on. And also, one thing maybe I'm regretting is when he was a little bit off. He was like a little bit weird, acting weird. I didn't say it. And then a couple of weeks later, he kind of collapsed. And so I kind of regret it. That's why I told you, whatever you think, good thing, bad things, tell your parents or tell your loved one. Because you don't regret it.
Oh yeah, that's that hits me really hard.
Yeah, so that's why
it's actually really, really, really deep.
Yeah, that's why I think it's great that you kind of show the appreciation and then say it. Because until you say it, probably nobody knows.
I mean, like I maybe I understand. You know, of course, there's one day you will face it, right? But in different side of you, in a different side of you, always think like, you know, oh, maybe we'll have more time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
it's gonna come from middle of nowhere.
That's a little bit complicated, but it's like you said, it's really important to show your appreciation, show your love to your loved one, to our loved ones. Anytime. Because you don't know when it's gonna happen. And when it's gonna happen, what's gonna happen. What I admire about how you accept and moved on. I know you're still in the process, but you know how to accept your dad's loss. Is that you did not hesitate to you know, accept it, face it. You're the one who always tried to like gain from the event, right? So my question is, what have you gained after the loss of your dad?
I think it's huge loss, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
And sadness. But first of all, I think I can now understand and feel the pain of the people. And because I was there. I was getting lots of messages from my friend. You're really sorry to hear that. Your dad was fantastic, and I know how close you are with your dad. And they said, all people said, let me know if I can do anything. That only this one short sentence changes a lot. Because I could feel, when you get this kind of message, you are like automatically kind of, you know, processing things, and then unconsciously you are not reading, right?
I just say thank you.
Thank you, something like that. But this message, and especially this sentence, helped me a lot. I have these friends who understand me, and also who can tell me whenever I need help, these guys are gonna help, right? And I felt I'm not alone. And I used to think I can do anything by myself. I don't need to share things. I can overcome because I'm smart. I was thinking like that. It's a stupid idea, but
that's your personality.
Yeah, my personality. But since this loss, I started to feel it. It's okay to share your pain and ask help because these guys are gonna help, and it's a positive thing. You have these people, you know, surrounded, right? And then also my dad's friend kind of sent me executives, you know, sports industry executives sent me the message how he was passionate about sports, how he was helping the athletes, how he was mentoring, people, and smile and kind.
Yeah.
Whenever I kind of have the moment, I try to see this message still now because that's who he was, and then I admire it. I wanna be like that, I wanna be kind. I wanna be professional. I wanna be, impactful for the society through sports. So I think these motivation or driver I gained through this loss. And you cannot write this sentence by ChatGPT for sure.
Yeah, it's different.
Maybe
it's
they can, but I
how you receive it is very different.
I still see the power of humanity.
You feel it. You felt it.
Human beings, have the love and the passion and kindness. Yeah. And when you write it with your thought, the care, the message is totally different, and because that's what I received. Yeah. And so since then, whenever let's say my friend is in a dark mode, I try to write some message and put my thought on it, and then try to give it the love, because I have receiving a lot of love from my dad and then my mother and friends. And then what I can do is probably share the love with other people, or I was the one who give the love to somebody. Yeah. So then I felt this society is working like that. It's not like single way. It's not like solo play. You share things. You connect, right? Yeah. And that's what I think learned from this experience.
From what you just said, I really respect that you gain the ability of being very empathetic to other people. Yep. Right? And then being empathetic, for me, I believe that is one of the strongest weapon that a human being can have, right? Being empathetic, understand their feelings, like sadness, happiness. We can all share our emotions. I'm very glad and happy to hear that you took it very, very positively in a way. Of course, losing your loved one is one of the hardest things.
It's the hardest for sure.
You have to face, but you didn't run away. Yeah. And some people do still put the distance between the sadness and also yourself, right? I remember we were supposed to go to Singapore together back in 2023 December. Yeah. But then your dad passed away, and you were very busy with doing organizing the funeral. And I remember you told me one thing, that you have no room at that moment to think about what the loss is like. Yeah. Right. And then I felt it may take a little bit time for you to just accept it, see the reality, right? And coincidentally, I came across the podcast, and one of the guests in the podcast show is David Kessler. He's an author, and his speciality is about the grieving. Yeah. Yeah, the grief care.
Grief care, yeah.
What impressed me from listening to the podcast was he's doing a research about buffalo, the huge cow. Buffalo in the United States,
Buffalo chicken.
Buffalo wings.
Wings. Sorry.
No. And then I remember he was saying in the podcast, buffalo has a very interesting tendency, and whenever the hurricane was created, they tend to go towards the hurricane, because they know
instead of going away,
it will pass much quicker. But then us human being, we tend to put the distance.
Yeah, escape from it.
Yeah, escape from it. So the hurricane chase you.
Yeah.
Chase after you, and then we run away.
Yeah.
So the distance will never change.
True.
So let's put the hurricane as sadness or the grieving, or anything that you feel like emotionally, like a negative emotion. If it's always there, you have to be always scared or fearful.
Yeah.
Right. But then what you did alongside with a lot of people, you just went toward the hurricane.
Yeah.
I know it was hard, and I know it's still in the part of the process of how to grieve properly. But I'm really happy that you actually gained something from his loss. Yeah,
I think it's you told me the podcast show, and I listened, and kind of looking back at that time, I think it's all about the process, and it's a journey for sure. At the beginning, you have huge loss, and then gradually pains come, sadness comes, and then you have like an unstable moment, and then these days, not because I was sometimes suddenly start kind of be emotional or like crying. I was not like that before, and then now I'm more like he's with me. I kind of talk sometimes. I talk to him like, okay, if he's here, what he's gonna say? Maybe Yuta, you do this, do that, something like that. So now I feel I'm with him whenever I go to cemetery. What was that?
Grave.
Grave. Grave. I can talk to him, right? And also I can share my dad's story with his friends or my mom. So it's all about, I think, a journey. It takes time. Along the way, you need to share the pain, happiness. Happiness means like a memory, the positive memory of the loved one, and you have to share. And also, it's okay to cry or be sad because it's a journey. If you don't cry, probably you don't get heal. So that's why it's same with the buffalo. Cry is like going to maybe the hurricane, running into the hurricane. Same, So that's I think a part of the process. And unfortunately, we cannot prepare. I mean, we don't know when it comes. But what we can do is spend the time with parents and the family. And create the memory, share the memory, and say things. I think that's only what I can say. And I'm still doing it with my mom and then my brother and then other family member for sure. And I think that's what I can say.
I also felt like what you have gained from from his loss, from your loss. Is that you also found another calling, calling, and I know like your personalities is like very very like very independent in a way.
Yes,
it used to be.
And sometimes like leave me alone.
But now you talk about love, because you have a lot of appreciation from your parents or your friends, and you have received lots of tons of love. And now you have a calling to passing on to another, like a different people or loved one or in a different generation, and that's a very beautiful way to carry on, like your dad's legacy.
Because like you kind of look back what he was doing. I felt okay. I was the one who was receiving the love. And now, what I can do is share the love with the other people. pass it to other one,
Yeah.
right? Society works like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Human being, emotionally connected like that.
Yeah.
That I started to think that way. Before I was not thinking like that. I was more independent.
Right.
I could do things by myself and then living alone kind of person. And so I have a more kind of wider point of view, for sure. And also, again, life is limited. Time is limited.
Yeah.
So I try to say things, share the emotions more. I was not good at sharing emotions before. I still probably, but I try to share what I feel, what I think with more number of people, not only family, but the friends as well. If I see something wrong, I try to tell the friend, right? And then also my professional career wise, in the room, couple of weeks before he left, I was with him, and I was telling him, maybe he was not conscious or he was listening, I don't know. But I was trying to tell him, okay, I'm going to be the FIFA football agent. I'm going to be the World Athletics agent, which is agent for track and field. And I promised to my dad, to be the one of the best agent in the world. So at that time, I didn't have any agent license, and I probably didn't know how hard it is to get the license. But now I passed all the exams. I got both agent. I think I'm one of only 3 or 4 people who have both license in the world, which is great. But I could do this because of my dad, and then I share the moment with him, last moment, and now that still carries, and I wanna create more impact in this sport industry through this agent work, because I share the moment with him, and I will continue to do that. And through this career, probably I work with my dad's old friend, or right. And by the way, when I got the World Athletics license, I sent the message to his friends. And then they were so happy. And then I felt like I'm still living with my dad. His work is there, his presence is there, and I'm sure he's trying to cheer me up for sure.
It's beautiful.
So I think yes, it's hard. It was hard to lose my dad, but now I feel his presence, and I appreciate more things. I try to communicate and share with the people more. So overall, I think life is good.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, man. So as we actually said, it really depends on, I think there's so many different ways to accept the grieving, accept the loss of the loved one. There's no right answer to that.
No.
But I think one of the most important thing is to keep moving forward. And try to accept the emotion that you have and the loss of your loved one. So
it's a process.
Everything is a process. And one day you get to see them in the future, for sure, in a different world, I believe. And if you are still in the situation where you are kind of hesitant to face the loss, feel free to ask him, or send us a message, so that we can all share our feelings, our grieving, our ways of grieve something. So and that that's also a great step, like a step forward. So just be courageous if you can, and accept whenever you can.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing your story. I know it's been very, very tough for you.
Yep.
And then I know we always wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy that your progress.
Yeah.
And it's a pure inspiration.
Yes.
Not only for the audience, but also me personally, as a friend, as a friend. So thank you very much again for sharing your emotions.
Anytime. Anytime.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening to our channel. We'll see you next week or
next episode. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Slow starters.